fourth round underway. Felicia Spencer, Pam Sorensen. Spencer coming in with that kick immediately back, or punch immediately back into the clinch. Sorensen having none of it, trying to get back at space. Combination by Spencer.
There have been quite a few front kicks from Sorensen to the midsection of Felicia Spencer. They don't seem to have made that much of an impact, but you got to think they're slowing you down, making you a little tired after a while.
Spencer throwing that kick to the lead leg of Sorensen. She checked it every time.
We've seen some really fun elbows tonight.
Sorensen content to eat that kick to the lead leg and follow up with a right hand.
You just kind of keep crashing into each other and then moving apart. I think that's what happens when you get a very good counter striker and then somebody who just is trying to get the read on the countering. I think there need to be punches in front of those kicks for Felicia Spencer. Every time, you know, she throws an kind of a naked kick like that, she gets tagged.
Oh, nice right hand gets through by Pam Sorensen.
Ooh, nice.
Face down, Spencer coming forward. Elects to keep punching rather than securing the clinch. Sorensen may be in trouble, tries to answer with a knee. So the action here in this fourth round, the Phenom pushing off Sorensen. Now in on a takedown.
Now that was well done, the way she pushed her off and then she got into that. She really needs to explode in that double leg now if she wants to get her down. She's got her off balance. Oh,
Sorensen benefited from grabbing a hold of that pad. She gets in top position, but Spencer, see if she can get back to her feet. Short elbows here by Pam Sorensen.
She's doing great. Wow.
Knee.
With that overhook, using that for her get-ups. And that really, I think that really affected Spencer.
In that takedown attempt, it looked like Pam Sorensen had grabbed the pad of the cage. Nice knee to the body there by Pam Sorensen.
Yeah, and Felicia Spencer's got to feel a little bit like, you know, a little bit more confident maybe right now that that front kick got her. It really did rock Sorensen for a second. She was really taking control of the striking. And, you know, that's kind of invigorating at times, even though they're back kind of clenched up where they usually go.
Head in the chin, feet, head in the chin. Let's use that pressure. Forehead and chin, perfect. Good adjustment. Hey, drop.
Relentless pressure here in the clinch by Felicia Spencer.
Perfect. Hey,
oh, nice.
Trying to roll through is Spencer.
Sorensen's locked up arm and guillotine. I think that's more for control and position and to try and prevent that takedown. That arm digging underneath the head and the armpit will give her the space to move her hips. Felicia's doing a nice job of just maintaining constant pressure. She really needs to run the pipe and not go for a double leg there. Sorensen's got great balance right here.
90 seconds left here in round number 4.
Knee speed, come on.
Pummeling in is Sorensen. Trying to circle off the fence is Pam, but Felicia keeping it right there.
Oh, nice.
Good pressure.
Sorensen looking for the opportunities. When they're there, she's trying to take advantage of them. But, you know, being controlled is Sorensen. Spencer not really letting her get back at range. Pam trying to go for that takedown again, but Spencer now in on the back.
She got really excited, didn't get her hooks in there, but she's still climbing. She's still in a position where she can do some damage. You can see Sorensen's trying to get her back to the cage, trying to get it to a position where Felicia can't stretch her out, but it looks like she's underneath the chin.
She is. We'll see. There it is, and it's done! The Phenom!
Wow!
Felicia Spencer is the new Invicta FC featherweight champion. TJ DeSantis, Julie Kedzie, Memorial Hall here in Kansas City, Kansas, Invicta FC 34.
Nice and square.
Leonardo with a nice kick to the lead leg of Milanowski. Milanowski shooting. Gets that takedown, nicely done. She failed to grab the double leg. She stuck with it. got on top.
Yeah, well, she took advantage of the defense and the positioning that she was given with that defense, and that's how she was able to get it to the ground.
Malinowski disengages, welcomes Victoria back to the feet. Leonardo answering with some hands now.
Leonardo was in that, creating a nice little frame to hit. Now she's got the underhook, and she's trying to drag Malinowski to the ground, which she does.
Leonardo with the takedown of her own. Malinowski trying to frame up that half guard.
You can see she's using her head kind of for leverage. You gotta be careful not to headbutt, like we've seen. Not from her, but from a fighter in the past, but using that head.
Hard left hands there by Leonardo, trying to take the mount. Malinowski shut it down, but eating some hard hammer shots in now. Corner of Malinowski telling her to get back to her feet. Leonardo keeping the pressure up, though.
You're doing great. There you go. Look at that.
Malinowski really needs to use those legs on the hips to kick her away and get up. You can hear her opponent or her corner calling for that, but you saw Leonardo rode right back into that motion.
Victoria Leonardo, nicknamed Fury. Fury's pace here by her early. Back up against the fence, Leonardo with that right underhook.
She does seem to have fury today. That was a nice shot.
She mentioned she was motivated. She did not like the performance she put on against Miranda Maverick. She wants that Invicta FC win here tonight. Nice use of the head here in the clinch.
Very nice. And now you can see she's got her double underhook. She's trying to drag her down. The problem with putting your arm around somebody's head like that is you can also give up your back quite easily, and that's what Malinowski has done.
I like the strikes here from Leonardo in these scrambles. She's always throwing these hammer fists, now trying to grab that neck, but now she wraps it up. Malinowski in some trouble.
Oh. You can see she's fighting against, I don't know if it's completely under the chin yet, but Malinowski's trying to turn into her.
There's a tap. Victoria Leonardo gets that first Invicta FC win. She stops Jamie Malinowski. Submission. Furious. Victoria Leonardo did exactly what she wanted to in her second Invicta FC appearance. See what adjustments are made between these two ladies. Touch of gloves underway. Logan right back to that kick, but King trying to come alive with some punches. Oh, hard right hand by the Huntress. Exchanging early in this round now, King getting back into the clinch. Action right in front of us here. More control of that head now for Logan. We'll see what she wants to do with it. Arm in, though, on the other side.
Yeah, it seems like she's wanting to spin her off of it. I don't know that the submission's going to happen right there. I think she's going to probably use this to set up some strikes.
You can see her handiwork there on the left leg, as you mentioned in round number one. Holly Logan has definitely chopped it up.
King easily escapes her head right there. She's waiting for the opportunity, although she goes back to that position, although she's over the top there, so maybe she can use this to spin. I'd like to see them throw a little bit of more action, some more knees, and it seems as though King's legs are fairly close together for her to be able to kick off of the cage and turn, as she just attempted.
Foot stomp there by Logan. You immediately saw King move, but now she's
it's wrapped up.
Really trying to wrap up this guillotine. Kneeing to the body now is King. She has this position. What does she need to do to finish this, Julie?
Well, she doesn't really have the leverage to completely tap her, although she's squeezing the blood out of her nose. You really need to get your opponent extended for that. So the damage that she's doing right there is important. If she's on her back, actually, and you don't really want to pull guard, but if you know you have that thing locked in, it's best for you to either be on your back. I really like the way that King just yanked down the head like that. I think shucking her to the ground would be very helpful at this point.
King trying to get the takedown, but it is Logan that
reverse
initiates the takedown, but the scramble ensues, and according to the line, King on top.
And I can't see the hand positioning, but it looks like she's locked in a quarter position around the head there, TJ.
See if she can make it work. A lot of time for Courtney King to wrap something up.
since the head and arm is wrapped, it seems, it's hard to see from this angle if she's all the way to her bicep.
Referee taking a look.
Everything else is good. They pressure hard.
Now, Logan's got to find a way out of this position, and using her legs is a fairly good idea. Inserting one, though, walking around inserting one and trying to use it to pull her over. King, meanwhile, she's got to get her legs extended. She's got to get a little bit more extension with her body there to get that totally finished.
Is the fence working against her here?
Yes, it is. If I would think in her position, yeah, because the leg is exposed there, I would think in her position she might look to step over or use that to mount or roll through.
How taxing is this on Courtney King's arms? If she fails to get this, are they going to be burnt?
I mean, I guess it depends on how much she trains that sort of thing. You can train for, tightening and tightening and tightening. You can also just kind of hold these positions, make it look like you're straining, and actually just use it to lock and frustrate the other person. It looks as though, like, Logan's moving, but her movements aren't, like, they're small and deliberate movements, so it's really hard for us to see, where. Now, look at the position of King, though. She's getting to where she can actually start stepping around and get the submission. She's got to get flat, and she's got to control that elbow.
Now, almost flattened out was Logan, but still controlled there by King.
And Logan's turning in, trying to get back to a position where she can get her legs hooked, but she's got her arm underneath underneath King. There it is. There's the step over.
Steps to mount now. Courtney King has a little less than a minute to work. Logan trying to go out the back door. She does. Nicely done. Eats a hard right hand. Back to side, though, goes the Lion King. Now into mount. 40 seconds left to work. Courtney King trying to get it done right here.
My goodness.
Logan giving up her back. Trying to survive. 30 seconds remains here.
That's enough time to lock in a submission. She should also be hurting her with those punches if she doesn't have that locked. It looks like it's in.
She has the grip, I believe, hard to see from this angle. Holly Logan surviving. Referee grabbing the hand to see if she's still with it. She is.
And you can see King stretching her body out.
She taps it, it's done! Courtney the Lion King, with about 15 seconds left in the round, able to wrap up that rear naked choke. Holly Logan very game, but the Lion, Courtney King, reigns supreme. Round number 2 ready to get underway. Chantel Coates, Caitlin Ginger Sammons. Sammons a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We'll see if she's able to utilize that here. Exchange of kicks early.
Coates' footwork is much more active in the beginning of this round, Chin's still super high there, TJ, but, that kind of confidence to carry it like that. She's seeing something or she's feeling something in this that allows her to have that sense that she's not going to get hit as much.
Swing and a miss with a high kick by Sammons.
Sammons is really working there for the inside, trying to stay shelled up there and get those little shots in there.
Sammons content to kickbox thus far. I'm not sure why she hasn't switched and maybe try to get this fight to the floor, but it's a lot easier said than done, especially when someone's throwing power your way like Chantel Coates.
Yeah, and she may have a strategy because Coates missed weight very slightly, that maybe she's going to try to exploit a hole she sees in the conditioning. And again, she is bouncier. She's staying in motion, but honestly, I would take her down if she had the ability to. And I would not be leading with that inside left kick. It is a good way to disrupt the right hand, but you have to land it at the right time or you're susceptible to the right hand.
Punch out the break there. It looked like Sammons was going to try to grab a hold of a leg of Coates, but unable to do so.
She has really fantastic composure in her responses. When she gets hit or she lands her combinations or attempts her combinations, she comes back to that tight position just out of range.
Doubling up on the right hand is Coates. Nice right hand
in by Coates. Coates really able to throw with power and sit down on his punches because Salmons hasn't really shot for the legs, hasn't really tried to catch her off balance too much, content to exchange with her, and I think that's why we see the confidence a bit of Chantel Coates growing.
Yeah, and I like the way she did that little switch stance to that right hand. It's a good way of offsetting, you know, nice. Yeah, I think she's just getting a little bit more pop in those punches. I think that Kaitlyn Salmons, you know, when she does land, she's not quite able to land with as much power.
This fight causing Julie Kedzie to shadow box here in the booth. Don't hit me.
Well, I make no promises.
Past the halfway point of this fight. Talked a lot about the jab of Chantel Coates. A lot coming off of it. It is an offensive maneuver. You can't get hurt by a jab, and I think we've seen that red in the nose here of Kaitlyn Salmons, but combinations usually off that jab. An underutilized technique in mixed martial arts.
It is, but you can see the way Salmons' posture is and the way she's moving. She's more cautious of that right hand. She's actually shifting her weight more to her right foot, more to her back pocket, which leaves her a little bit more susceptible to that jab. If I were Chantel Coates, I'd really be pumping that thing out there. Nice liver kick to jab her.
Credit to Salmons, still marching forward.
Yeah, I'd like to see Salmons try more hook punches, try to get outside of that right hand. Nice right cross length there, but she's really not able to get inside the reach as well as she should for a good takedown.
Are you surprised that Salmons hasn't tried to initiate a clinch and maybe slow down the pace of the fight that way?
Well, she just did. Oh, so but yes, I think that that's a really good idea. I think it's a good thing to do to push Chantel Coates onto her heels, get that takedown, and put her on her back or take her back.
We've seen Ginger Salmons in this position before. Rear naked choke victory her first time around, now trying to get another one. A lot of time here. Chantel Coates in trouble. There it is, and it's done! Kaitlyn Ginger Salmons weathered the storm, got in top position, and made it count. My goodness, Julie Kedzie, the composure on display from the now 2-0 Kaitlyn Ginger Salmons.
This is a very good matchup, TJ.
Absolutely, shaping up for a fun final 5 minutes.
Hansen once again right in the center of the octagon, grabs that leg, gets her down immediately.
You see Hansen was just waiting for the opportunity, not really throwing anything the way of Cagliari and waiting for the Brazilian to throw some offense, and when she did, immediately closed the distance, and the wrestling on display of Kay Hansen tonight definitely showing its improvement.
And if you look at Cagliari's, I'm so sorry guys, left underhook, the way she was able to kind of use it, she stretched it out, she wedged it, and she's able to wedge in then her left knee to create more space. So while Hansen's working to control her head and wrapping her up, Cagliari's still looking for an opportunity to create space to improve her position. She's probably trying to do a sweep right there. Yeah, she's underhooking the leg. I'm not sure that she's going to be able to get enough leverage there because of Hansen's hips. And it looks like, yeah, she's kind of tied herself up there, and Hansen's got the mount.
Kay Hansen's on the
Oh, tap.
That's a tap. That's a choke. I couldn't see if she had the grip there, but she was working on it, and there it comes.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Kay Hansen getting a submission in round number 3. Conejo and Morangian. TJ DeSantis, Julie Kedzie, Megan Anderson. Our main event here of Invicta FC 41, and these ladies are coming out firing.
Yes, both of them have really hard overhand shots.
Exchanging here on the inside. Looked like Conejo was trying to get that clinch, but able to stay at space as the Brazilian. Talking to Conejo, she said, I'm very hungry, and that's going to motivate me. And then we spoke with Morangian, who said that hunger that Ruiz has may be her downfall. She felt that she could utilize that to her advantage and capitalize on Ruiz trying to make too big of a statement too early. Now coming forward again, eating some shots here to get on the inside. It is the Brazilian that is able to control the clinch, putting Conejo into the fence.
Conejo has some very, very good wrestling, obviously. And she utilizes upper body takedowns extremely well. She's able to off-balance her opponents. She does that head and arm throw that I detest, but she does it so beautifully. I love it when she does it. I'll say that. Good knee.
Trying to get that throw, as you mentioned, Julie, but unable to do so.
And that's the framing Janessa needs to do on that. She needs to cup the armpit, push it above her head, take the back, or do as Taylor did and get to the back and tip over backwards.
Light on her feet is the Brazilian, confident here. 90 seconds down in this first round of our main event.
One thing that's really exciting about these fighters is when one lands, the other one wants to land right away. It's neither one avoids a firefight.
Canelo coming forward with some shots. Ducking under that hook was Ruiz.
I feel like Moranjan, who has had a tendency in the past to come out very aggressive, very strong, really showing some growth and being very patient, picking her shots here.
I think Moranjan learned a lot from the loss to Emily Ducote, where she was stopped and really kind of didn't know what had happened in that fight. And she said as much. She wanted to show her growth. Eats a right hand there, though, by Canelo.
Yeah, one of the things she should have picked up from that loss is keeping those hands up just a tiny bit higher, but, you know, she can take a shot.
Canelo coming alive. Moranjan clinching, and now Ruiz goes for the takedown, gets it now inside. The Evil Princess in trouble. Canelo
looking for the armbar.
Has the arm isolated here, throwing some left hands.
And this is one of her favorite top positions to be in. She really likes that Keza positioning, grabbing onto the head, keeping her legs flanked toward the head and attacking that arm, or at least trapping that arm so that she can open up on the face.
Moranjan eating these shots. They're not the most powerful, but they will add up. Trying to explode and create a scramble is Moranjan.
She needs to get that elbow to the ground, not there, all the way to the ground.
Not letting go here, trying to attack. And it's done! Canelo! Montserrat Ruiz gets a submission! My goodness! That is just the return that the Mexican wanted. She gets the tap, stopping Janessa Moranjan. Wow! All right, we are headed to round number 2. Alexa Culp and Natalia Spies. And again, Spies coming out with the kicks early. Aggressive with the kicks is Culp, now covering up as offense thrown back her way, but now into the clinch. We'll see if Culp wants to try to drag this fight to the floor. She's in the clinch here with one underhook. Trying to break that posture of Culp is Spies with the forearm. We'll see if she tries to sneak in some elbows.
Yeah, it's a great place for a knee, like she did right there, TJ. Also, you can see that Culp is trying to drop her level, and when Spies is in that position, try to connect those legs together to get the takedown. Unable to do so far. This is a fight for head position too. I think that you can see Culp's really trying to dig in under the chin. Nice knee.
Culp trying to grab a hold of that leg that delivered a knee a moment ago.
And her head is a little bit low for that takedown, and you can see Spies is taking advantage of that, putting pressure on the neck. Able to spin to that tie clench position.
Keeping the pressure on is Culp. And framing on that face again. The knee delivered by Spies. Trying to get free, but tripped up there on the exit. And now Culp back in the close guard here, Natalia Spies.
And Culp took quite a bit of damage right there. She took some hard knees, some hard elbows to the head right there. So I'm wondering what effect that has on her ground game here, if it's going to up her aggression level or if she'll stay patient as she did when she passed the guard before.
Chris Cyborg checking in on Twitter. Some nice words thrown the way of the fellow former Invicta FC featherweight champ.
Thank you very much, champ. She's one of 4. This is a very select group.
Halfway point here of the fight. Culp in control on top of Natalia Spies.
Well, I don't know in control necessarily, TJ. I might argue that because Spies is actually controlling the head, but Culp does have top position. She's looking for that pass. So if she frees the head and she frees the hooks on the legs, she will be able to get to a more dominant position. However, she's almost fell into that triangle. You can see her working for that pass.
We've seen Spies go for this triangle a couple of times earlier in the fight, and so far so good for Alexa Culp, able to get through, now settles into half.
This is a really positionally dominant position. A lot of people technically struggle getting up from half guard, so this is great if Alexa can control this position. She's going to be able to do a lot of damage here if, you know, she's able to get that control.
Yeah, it's wonderful for ground and pound. And she has some great back-taking abilities because you can see her rolling immediately for that when Spies tried to explode out.
One hook in for Alexa Culp. Touch under 90 seconds remain here in round number 2.
I think Spies really needs to just explode up, look to just scramble and initiate the scramble, create that space to get up, because this is not where she wants to be. She was doing very well at the start of the round in the striking exchanges. She needs to get back there.
You can see, I don't know if Culp is under the chin or not, but she's definitely wrapped around the head.
Oh, that's a tap, and it's done! Alexa Culp, victorious in her mixed martial arts debut, a rear naked choke stoppage of Natalia Spies.